form of goods and services, and if it involves all the people living in the economy for work, then it gets converted into the level of employment, and that's why we have taken it together. But coming to this final aim of determination of equilibrium level of income, output and employment, the basic starts from aggregate demand. Okay, aggregate demand. Land expenditure. One person. Land expenditure by the consumers living in the. Okay. So it is a planned expenditure on the goods produced in the economy. Okay. Now, who all are the consumers? Your answer will be B. Yes, we are the consumers. But when we are talking about only ourselves, we are neglecting a very big part of the economy, because our economy on the macroeconomic basis is divided into 4 sectors. You all are aware of that? What are those 4 sectors? Yes, very good.
Private government.
Household. Then you have private sector. Government sector. And fourth is other. Okay, these are the 4 sectors in the economy, and all these 4 sectors demand goods or services for one or the other time, and that's why the aggregate demand is the summation of these 4. Whatever demand is generated in these 4 sectors of the economy, the total of that we call it as a aggregate demand, and that's why now we are having 4 components of aggregate demand. Followed, there are 4 components of aggregate demand. Number 1, household consumption demand, which is generated through household sector. Okay, means all the households living in the economy, whatever is their demand, that comes under this household consumption demand. Followed. Now, these households are not only the person who are demanding. In our economy, we find lots of goods and services are being produced. And to produce those goods and services, producers also do. Yes or no?
Yes.
So for the smooth functioning of their working system, they do demand goods and services, and that's why the second component comes out to be private investment demand, which we call it as a private investment expenditure also. Because I told you in the very beginning that income in macroeconomics is measured in terms of expenditure. So this first part, household consumption demand, is also known as private consumption expenditure. Are you getting me? Nicely. Second one is private investment expenditure. First one is for consumption purpose. Second one is for investment purpose. And I hope you all know what is the meaning of investment. In addition to the stock of capital. Clear?
Yes.
Now third one is the government's demand for goods and services, or we also call it government's expenditure. Now why government needs? What is the need for the government to demand goods and services?
Social welfare.
Social welfare. Can we take it as that? Social welfare. See, there are so many government departments working. For the smooth functioning of them, government demands goods and services. Now you are having government hospital, you are having government schools. Schools are not running on their own. Our school, it is not running on our own. We need computer, we need chair, we need table, goods and services. And government plays a dual role, means it is demanding for consumption purpose also as well as investment purpose also, because government has to invest to get infrastructure development like roads, bridges, dams. It is doing that work also. So that's why government sector also demands goods and services. Then comes your fourth sector, which is rest of the world. Now foreigners are coming to our country. Then we are going abroad from our country. So when foreigners come, they are not carrying their things from there and coming, are they? No, they have to, when they are staying in India, they will purchase from India. Yes. So whatever they are purchasing, that again gets converted into the demand by the foreigners. Now in this case, the exports, what is export? What is export? Which we are selling out. And what is an import? Yes, this concept is quite clear to you all. So the becomes the net export. And when these all four are added together, means household consumption demand, private investment demand, government's demand for goods and services, and net exports, the combined weight gives us an idea of aggregate demand. So your aggregate demand equation is C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where C stands for consumption expenditure or household consumption demand. I stands for private investment demand or private investment expenditure. Then I stands for, G stands for government demand for goods and services, and lastly X minus M. In the beginning only I told you that we are going to learn the basics. Okay? For our convenience, for our understanding, we consider only two sectors, and that is first one, the household and the private sector. So for our level, our aggregate demand comes out to be AD is equal to C plus I. Follow this? So we are only concentrating on two concepts or two components, which are household consumption demand or private consumption expenditure, and secondly private investment demand or investment expenditure. So for us, we will be only remembering whenever AD comes anywhere, it will always be C plus I. Is that clear? Any confusion till here? Now make it a point that this portion is very important, because the question is also there, what is aggregate demand and what are its components. So it is also important from the examination point of view. Follow that? Now then we proceed further. AD schedule. Up till now you are very much aware of what is the schedule. What's the schedule? Table. Now we are talking about aggregate demand schedule. Aggregate demand schedule. What are the components of aggregate demand? C plus I. C plus I means this schedule will include two things. What are two things? Consumption and investment. Yes. And how this behaves with the level of income. How these two are behaving with the level of income. A table showing this relationship, the behavior of consumption and investment with whom? With different levels of income or at different levels of income. That gives us an idea of aggregate demand schedule. Okay. So I'll just write down aggregate demand for you. What is Y? Income. It's a level of income. Then you are having consumption. Now investment is again an investment demand. There are two concepts of investment. One is induced investment and other one is autonomous investment. Okay. So induced investment. What is induced investment? Anybody?
Which is for private purpose.
Which is with the motive of profit. The investment done with the motive of profit. It is called as induced investment. You will remember it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Means whenever a producer is investing in the what is the motive behind it? A profit. Whereas the means it keeps on changing with the level of income. Higher the level, higher shall be the aim for profit. Lower the income, the profit comes lower. So it keeps on changing with the level of income. Now autonomous investment means independent investment. Independent of what? Level of income. Level of income. Now this comes under the government investment. Government every year decides कितना का investment होगा. So it is fixed. That investment will remain fixed for all levels of income, and that's why we make it fixed at supposingly 10 crores. So it will remain fixed. Okay. Now what is this equation? AD is C plus I. So your next column will be of AD. It's very simple. And this is your C, this is your I. Add both of
40. 45. 50.
45. 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. It will be till 70 only.
Yes, sir.
Is this clear? Now, whenever a question is asked about what is aggregate demand or explain aggregate demand with the help of a schedule, then this is the schedule. There is no pressure to learn by heart the schedule. Just remember the difference. That schedule, when you are taking Y, it's a table of 10. And when you are taking the consumption, take any value, give a difference of 5. And it's easy. You getting it?
Yes.
So up till now what we have done, we have studied about the aggregate demand, we have studied about the components of aggregate demand, then we have seen the nature of aggregate demand schedule. So what is the aggregate demand schedule? Anyone? Yes, last. बताइए. नेहा.
Ma'am, it is the table showing the aggregate demand at different levels.
No, it is a table showing behavior of consumption and investment at different levels of income. Now what do you find? See, some striking points are there. Even when the income is zero, there is consumption. Which shows that consumption is never zero. Consumption is never zero. It can never be zero. Though you can take an example of beggar. Is beggar earning anything? No, but he is consuming.
Yeah.
Yes or no? So that is a case. Okay. So for consumption can never be zero. Then what is happening? It goes on increasing as the level of income is increasing. So the second point which we are getting from the schedule is that consumption increases as income increases. Same thing as madam explained you. Income बढ़ती है तो डिमांड बढ़ जाती है. उस डिमांड को जब इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे हम बात करते हैं तो वो डिमांड होती है. जब मैक्रो लेवल पे आप बात कर रहे हो तो वो कंजम्पशन बनता है. ये सभी लोग उसको कंज्यूम करेंगे. You getting the point? So when the income increases, the consumption also increases, but the rate is different. The rate at which the consumption increases is not same. The date at which the income increases is not the same at which your consumption will increase. Your income may increase, आपकी income बढ़ेगी. तो जब इनकम बढ़ने लग जाती है तो आपका एक साइकोलॉजिकल माइंड पीछे से काम करता है कि हम सारा खर्च नहीं करेंगे, कुछ पार्ट हम सेव करेंगे, हम बचाएंगे. यस, क्लियर? सो व्हाट डू वी से? एज इनकम इंक्रीजेस, कंजम्पशन आल्सो इंक्रीजेस, but not at the rate at which the income increases. सिंपली बोले, सादे शब्दों में बोले तो जिस रेट से आपकी इनकम बढ़ती है, कंजम्पशन उससे कम रेट से बढ़ता है, क्योंकि हर व्यक्ति स्वयं के लिए कुछ न कुछ बचाने का प्रयास जरूर करता है. Is this concept clear now? This is nothing but the Keynes fundamental psychological law. Keynes ने इसी बात को, कौन सी बात को, कि when income increases, consumption also increases, but not at the same rate. The rate of increase in income is higher than the rate of increase in consumption. Why? Because each individual wants to save something or the other for himself. तो पूरा का पूरा खर्च ना करके a part is always retained and that becomes the same. Followed? And this relationship, this behavior is known as the Keynes fundamental psychological law. Is it clear? This concept is clear till now? Now we proceed further to the concept of aggregate supply. What can be the aggregate supply?
Some total of goods and services.
Flow of goods and services. Aggregate. वही करते हैं बच्चे ना, जैसे क्वेश्चन पुट के लिखा हुआ फटाफट उठ के पलट के फटाफट और पढ़ने लग जाते हैं. और उसी समय मैं बोलती हूँ आगे पार्ट पीछे से पार्ट. You understood? You understood? आगे पार्ट पीछे से पार्ट. आज जो पढ़ाया वो तो याद है. So a component of aggregate supply. Now what is aggregate supply? Again, yes.
Flow of goods and services as planned by producer.
As planned by the producer in an economy. So supply again remains the same. In microeconomics, you might have studied supply. It is a supply by individual suppliers, producers. Now what we do in macroeconomics, we aggregate, we find the sum total, whatever goods are produced in the economy, all goods, the supply of all the goods and services taken all together gives us a concept of aggregate supply, and that's why we say it is a flow of goods and services as planned by the producers in an economy. Is it clear now? Now, what are the concepts of aggregate supply?
C plus
Again, we are limiting our studies till two sector economy. So again, we have only two sectors getting involved here, and then again the C plus S, saving. So the components of aggregate supply are
Consumption and saving.
first one is consumption C, and second is savings, which is S. Consumption के बारे में तो हमने सारी रात कहानी पढ़ी. We have studied everything about the consumption. How means aggregate, how the consumption changes with the level of income. And now we are coming to the aggregate supply schedule, AS schedule. How can we understand that one? How can we define that one? Again, now what will be involved here? Consumption and saving at different levels of income. Consumption and saving at different levels of income. So, aggregate supply schedule is a table showing the behavior of consumption and saving at different levels of income. Is it clear? Any confusion anybody is having? Sure? Okay. Now, all this, we'll again take an example to draw the schedule. Why? Again, it is the same. Now this is your income schedule and this is your consumption. Okay. Now, if aggregate supply in an economy is sum total of all the goods and services produced in an economy. Okay. So can we call it an income also? Whatever is being produced, when you take out the money value of it, it gets converted into income. So same equation as AD is equal to C plus S, it can be equated to Y. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Y. So we can have from here Y is equal to C plus S, then S will be Y minus C. So you have another, this is supply schedule. You go on subtracting and you will get the values. Minus 0. Is this clear? Is this clear? Now again you can find out the behavior of savings also. Saving is negative, saving is even 0, and then it starts increasing. What is happening to the consumption? Even at 0 level of income, there is consumption, and that consumption is met by our schedule. What is happening? The first two values are negative, saving is 0, and then it is becoming positive. So till then your consumption is more than your income. During that part the saving is negative. Now negative saving is having a very good term which is called as dis-saving. Remember this term? Dis-saving. Okay? Means बचाना saving. Dis ना बचाना मतलब जो बचा हुआ था उसको फिर use कर लेना dis-saving. Clear? So what we are doing, supposing a person is there with a limited income, he is earning an income, he is saving also. Now suddenly he loses his job. He is jobless now. So suddenly he will not come on the road. First of all, he will use up all the things whichever he has saved, whatever money he has saved. First he will start using that. Yes or no? So same concept is there. So whenever we are using our past saving, पहले बचाई हुई आय को जब आप प्रयोग में लाते हैं तो उसे आप अबचत या डिस सेविंग का नाम देते हैं. Is that clear? So now our aggregate schedule will be C plus S. So find out the value. First is 0, then 20, 40, 60. Again whatever values of 80, 100 and is it clear? So this is your aggregate saving, sorry, aggregate supply schedule. Aggregate demand समझ में आ गया? It is always C plus I and aggregate saving supply is always C plus S. So all these four things you have followed. First thing, aggregate demand, its definition, its components. Four components. Okay. What were those four components? Household consumption demand, investment demand, government's demand, and net demand. Okay. But for our convenience, for our basic learning, we are including only two sectors, and that's why it is C plus I. So when we come to aggregate supply concept, again we are having only two sectors, and that's why our aggregate supply is a summation of consumption and saving. Okay. Till here it is clear. Now we come further, we proceed further to two more important functions, and that is consumption function and saving function. Consumption function, what is the meaning of function?
A relationship.